That's like I had a whole like my final exam for British romantic poetry. I completely forgot. God, was it Ode to a Blackbird?
Oh, the Shelley?
Yeah, I completely like.
No, that's Keith. Sorry, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No. But I think, God, I think I did that actually.
I think like once you accept that Ode to a Blackbird is kind of a Shelley coded Keats poem, then you've unlocked literature. Like you can pass the course at that point, in my opinion.
Or it's just the Blackbird. It's Tennyson. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, even better.
Yeah. But like but I wrote down Ode to a Blackbird, Percy Bysshe Shelley. And I was just like convinced in my heart at that moment. And then like, it was I think it was like 50 identifications and with explication. And so like it was a long fucking final.
That's rough.
But like I killed it in like the explication.
Yeah. And like
so like
anyone. Oh, guys.
Yeah, he was like, my professor was just like, yeah, you got the wrong poet and you got the title technically wrong, but minus 2 points, whatever. You still got an A.
Yeah, you got the important part right. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, honestly, like if you can analyze a poem, it shouldn't matter if you just like call the poet X and the poem Y. Like you've done the job.
I mean, confusing Tennyson and Shelley is like just on its face very funny if you know.
Yes.
Tennyson and Shelley.
They would hate that.
Yeah. But
Tennyson and Byron have a lot in common. They both love eulogizing their friends.
God. All right. Let's say hi to the people.
Let's do it.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Best of All Possible Souls. It's me, Dia. I'm here with Fabulous Derby, and we are joined by the even more fabulous Trevor Strunk. Trevor, say hi.
Hi, Dia. Hi, Derby. Hi, everyone. Lovely to be back.
It really is. I'm actually very hype because today we did the tower here. We did the weird, bell tower that was it's part of the new Firelink Shrine. Which I think is interesting because it evokes so much the bell tower run with the gargoyles. Even like there's there's that run across that span that we kind of were the.
It's absolutely a quotation of it. You won't get me to believe otherwise.
But it's so funny because like the original bonfire, the original Firelink Shrine, there's no bell tower there. There's no structure like that as a part of Firelink Shrine. We kind of get this. We do have these circular steps kind of with the Firelink Shrine, but none of this is there for that. And there's no bell tower. There's a bell tower that we can hear off in the distance, and we know that structure, is vaguely is a quotation of the bell tower we go to elsewhere in the Undead Burg. But so it's very interesting how it's kind of collapsing, that idea in on this space.
I wonder how much, and this is something I've been wondering since we first kind of saw the Firelink Shrine this time around. I wonder how much of what the Firelink Shrine is in this game is intentionally we want to talk about how the shrine got bigger and changed. It's been so long. Like obviously it's built up sort of like a I don't know, almost like a natural thing, almost like an animal would, or like a mollusk or something like that. I wonder how much of that's like an intentional reading of that, where it's like, yeah, this is the Firelink Shrine. It's like it's grown since you've last seen it, and how much of it is like, we just wanted to call everything, we wanted to conflate everything in Dark Souls, and put it all in one place, and that it doesn't have a logic behind it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no, there is a sense of kind of collapsing inward that I know comes up later, which I don't know how much we're supposed to kind of anticipate that here, but like I mean, there is a sense of collapse, right? Like, you know, like
Absolutely.
right now. I am looking at a structure that is in the process of collapse. You know, and what all of that means for everything that we encounter.
Yeah, it is funny in Dark Souls though. I think like one of the reasons, and this isn't intentional. It sort of is maybe an occupational hazard of the game is that like the idea of collapse is built into the first game as well. So if you're doing like a collapse storyline about this world getting older and messier and all, you have to sort of like account for the fact that yeah, like the world was always collapsing though. Like we only knew this world to be one that was collapsing the whole time.
I mean, it's interesting because, like, you know, when a lot of people don't think of Dark Souls as a game about collapse because it's so focused on. I mean a physical collapse. You know, because so much of it is predicated on the fire going out, which is a
Right.
different kind of, you know, metaphorically we can say, okay, yes, this is kind of a philosophical form of collapse, blah 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 blah. But
I love
at the
this
same
game.
time, yeah. Oh shit. Good wails on that guy. I actually want to bump our sounds just a little
He
bit.
says.
Because I feel like we're just a little bit. There we go.
Little loud, yeah.
A little bit. Just give us a little bit more, since your audio is coming through pretty clearly. So.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
I love
I mean,
that.
we'll see. That's a good, solid clunk. All right, so we took out that guy. There's like a little resting party here. See, we've got one of those.
One of
And
those
this
women.
this is like interesting. It's like, are they starting a journey to the end? Are they at the end of the road of sacrifices the way we are at the end of the road of sacrifices? What's going on? There we go. Ooh, what are we doing here? Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, and they are very, very clearly set up to be on a journey. Like, I think that is a group of people that are, or not. How many people are down there? Just the one?
It's
or?
just it's well, there's the one the fat official. I can't remember the church ladies with their big clubs and their hymnals, and then there's like one of those kind of body collectors guys over there.
I see.
And
Yeah,
and like the guy we just fought, and this guy down here, he's got a big, you know, like crow cage on his back filled with bodies. That don't look like they're doing good, but
Are they the sacrifices?
yeah, like, are they the sacrifice? We know that the undead, whatever the hell it's called in this one, I don't remember what it is. The Berg? It's not the Berg. The Berg is in Dark Souls 1.
Right.
The Undead Settlement. That's right. It's the
Right,
Undead
yes.
Settlement. Such a weird, nondescript name. Oh, shit.
No, you're still alive though.
Yeah, I'm still alive because I fell
This
down
is great
here.
news.
I love still being alive. Where is he?
It's
He's over
underrated.
there. What, are you coming down, homie?
He's not. He's
Come
scared.
down. Come down.
His cage is too
Come
heavy.
down. But we know that the Undead Settlement's like kind of purpose is to process bodies.
Right. We saw that initially. The kind of like they're all hanging up on
Is
their
there-
what, like they're basically hooks and
Yeah,
ropes and
they've
stuff
got all
like
these
that.
bodies, and like there's like they kind of, you know, chop them up, and like I don't know what they do, but we saw, like, if you looked at his his little cage before he disintegrated, the bodies are in bags. They're in like it's filled with sacks, little just burlap sacks of, I guess, processed bodies.
Very unfortunate.
So I guess my guess is that they are taking them over here to go to what I know to be is the cathedral at the end of all of this.
You read ahead.
I read ahead. I've played the game before. At the end of all of this bullshit is a big old cathedral.
At the end of all of this bullshit, also my favorite Dr. Seuss. No, yeah, Death ahead, therefore don't you dare.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's nothing there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, easy mistake to make. Yeah, I mean, oh my. Like Dark Souls, loves to do, this game is not shy about its feelings about religion, for sure.
No.
And the idea about, like, there being these bodies who are sort of either willing or most likely unwilling sacrifices heading towards the cathedral, I mean, that just charts. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, they like that they made this giant bonfire here.
Out of old wheels and oh no, those are the crucifixion.
It's a crucifixion,
crosses.
yeah. So they just broken them up and just like thrown them instead of a bonfire here.
That's pretty cool. It's very sacrilegious.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to have all that there. And then here's this weird bridge that very much is kind of reminiscent of the bridge you cross to get to Sen's Fortress.
Yep. Although also having a bit of a, we were talking about romantic poets, either before or during the beginning of recording. I can't remember when you started it, but the, very William Wordsworth coded as well.
Mm-hmm. I actually do. I love what is going on here. If you like, we have over here these trees. They are lush and full of leaves, and they are framed explicitly in opposition to the trees on the right side.
Yeah.
Which are just coming out of this rock, and they're just sticks, and they're not in like, those aren't in growth patterns that trees take. Those are weird, those are more.
They look like weeds.
They're like weeds. They're almost like weird, like kind of branching arteries. These are much more kind of natural. The shape that we like to see trees in, the shape we expect trees in, but then it's just framed across this bridge, and I just think it's really like, it got me when I first played this. I was just like, huh, they did that thing here.
That's really nice. Yeah, I think like one of the things I like to see in these games, and it's not something that always comes out because I think it can be risky to do it, is I like when there is a sort of explicit thematic reference. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's cool that it's like, oh hey, like, this here is growth and this here is death, and this is the obvious thing, as opposed to sort of the way that Dark Souls does a lot of its storytelling, which is like a lot through illusion and a lot through like, okay, you can fill in the gaps here, and that's great, like that's really fun, but also every so often an explicit reference, an explicit claim is really nice. And I think that's what's so striking about that spot.
The other thing I like is here is what we have these like kind of this awful rocky precipice, right? That this is where we've taken these church people have taken refuge amidst these kind of these rocks where these explosive. They almost look like they are like bursting out.
Absolutely.
Dead tree forms. They're all dead. There's no vegetative life on that. There's like some lichen on the rocks, and there's like some kind of this, scrub, like brush down here, but like
those are dead.
And this is directly beneath this, colossal cathedral that we are making our way towards.
I like the way that those trees are set up, because you get the sense of like power even though they are dead. Like there's a sense of like potency in them.
Well, it's eruption.
Out. Yeah, that eruptive like boom, right?
Yeah. I mean, in a way, this is like, this is almost like lava. Like, this is one step away from being ceaseless discharge territory. If we just turn those into fire gouts, even if we froze them in space, they would still be, they are eruptive in ways that they're bursting out of that. But then we also have this good healthy growth over here. And then like we look over here, you can kind of see, it's a nice healthy tree trunk it's got vines growing up it from like ivies that are growing and things like that. That's normal and healthy. Just a nice, just deciduous tree, and we've got. But then over here, just boom, we hit this, and then this terrible rock at this cathedral.
It's a really cool scene too, because like we've gotten a ton of like chaos in terms of like, okay, this is we're gonna see like bed of chaos, or we're gonna see ceaseless discharge, as you mentioned. Like there are these places where we've seen the growth, and we've been careful to kind of remark on that as much as we can during our Let's Plays, and because I think it's like a really interesting theme. But like here we see that kind of like chaos and strangeness in the dead growth, but like it's not so simple because of the clean growth, the nice growth as well, which I feel like is. I can't think of a lot. I can think of a lot of places in Elden Ring where you see that. I can't think of a lot of places in Dark Souls where you see healthy growth like that.
No, you don't see that a lot here. We did see that. We see it kind of. There is when you're walking over this kind of bridge initially, in to get to the chapel where Andre is, right? Before we, or there's the pathway to Andre, and you've got all that kind of those kind of conifers that are just like growing below. There's like that whole kind of, if I remember correctly, it's like an evergreen, almost just a full forest just below that area, which leads you down into the basin and everything like that with the wild growth. But it's still, it's complicated, and I like that this is complicating because also like we have this, right? Okay, we have this opposition set up here. We have this cathedral that is like kind of trickling down. It's all these like god awful rocks that are set up, the rocks that are organic and like these, they're not been placed here, but they have a sense of not being being placed here, despite the fact they feel like it's a barricade that's been built up, or like the way you kind of pile rocks on an embankment to prevent flooding and things like that. But then we've got this explosive dead growth ripping out of it, bursting out of it, really. All tripling down. But then we're gonna go over here, and this is all still just forest. This is just normal ass forest. This is just
right. It leans into, or it sort of recalls the sense in which like you have that feeling of man-made quality to that like clearing, in that like those rocks are naturally falling, but they also feel like either someone put them there, maybe it's an old wall like the ones you would see in like like very, very old ruins in England or Ireland. Those kind of like, well, I mean, as we talked about, like, or this is in England and Ireland, but like the mound builders, or like the way that rocks are sort of placed in haphazard ways to build walls. But like also you could just as easily say like, well, this is just how the rocks fell. Like this is a place where rocks fall often, and this happens to be the pattern in which they fall. And there's no such ambiguity about this forest here outside of the trail, right? Like the trail is man-made, but nothing else. Like this is barely holding on to its.
But then we get over here and we get these little interesting moments where we have the big trees that look normal. Though once we get into this area, the lighting becomes very spectral, very like it's very spooky, and
it's spooky.
This is much more of a, of like a gothic forest.
That's a thick canopy up there.
Yeah, it's a very thick canopy. Yeah, and it's like it's letting light in through the weirdest ways. This is like when you get that the weather effect gloom in Mordona in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes, it is.
Which it's Yoshida uses that with different colors. He doesn't use it with purple, but he brings that entire effect over to Final Fantasy XVI, and it's really funny.
I mean, listen, if you got it, flaunt it.
It's a good weather effect. I actually really love it in Mordona, so I'm not gonna.
It's amazing.
Can't hate too much. But like you have that kind of that that very spectral purple red shift going on here. Adjusting the tint away from green into the reddish purple tones, which makes these trees up here, the foliage becomes black. It's when we were approaching it from over here,
It's very green.
See, it's green. It looks okay. It's a little bit, it looks a little more natural. It's a little spooky, but it's not like, it's more of a fairy tale forest. And then as soon as we get over here, we're in, you know, we're in Mary Shelley territory now.
Yeah, that's not a fairy tale. Yeah. That's a gothic story.
Yeah.
That you're in.
There's someone down here. What's going on? What's going on down here?
That is interesting.
There's some bloodstains over here.
Is it someone?
And we can attack this person. They're an enemy. Damn,
well,
son.
Oh, okay. Well, I think.
Holy shit, my guy.
Yikes. Valiant.
Yeah, you didn't like, couldn't stand up so much to that, could you? What do we get? Just remain. Oh, Paladin's Ashes.
Oh, more ashes. I like that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. There's blood all over here that is actually, it's part of it's environmental blood.
Yeah, those aren't deaths.
And which is interesting. So we had this like kind of withered, hollowed corpse over here. We got the ashes off of it, and we have this terrible growth once again. This is kind of erupting up. This reminds me, when we get these guys, these remind me of the hands, the messenger hands from Bloodborne.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Legend of Zelda, like the hands that lift you
Oh
out of
no! God,
but that's a much less. That's just me thinking about those too much because they seared themselves into my memory.
That was probably the first thing that ever like truly terrified me in a video game.
Yeah, in part because they are so scary, and in part because they affect you so much that they scare you on both like a gameplay and real world level.
And that's something
at least me.
Well, and like there's something that changes they are something that changes gameplay, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. You know, you can't affect an enemy in that way.
No.
You cannot send something, you know, back to the beginning.
It'd be great if you could.
You cannot act on anything. Like even when you get to the very end of Zelda, when you've got all the tools and you've got all upgraded and everything like that, and you're ready to go kick Ganon's ass, you cannot affect an enemy in the way that the grippy hands, I can't remember what they're fucking officially called, but the hands, yeah. the hands can affect you in a way that alters the way the game's rules appear to be laid out. Mm-hmm. And that is the coolest, most terrifying thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The game telling you I can change the rules. I can change rules, or I can add rules that you didn't know about.
Yeah, you think you have me all figured out. The thing is, like, I'm in charge here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think more accurately, outside of my own fear reaction to seeing scary things that can ruin my gameplay moment. I think those do look like the grippy hands in Bloodborne, which I will say, one of my favorite thematic elements of Bloodborne.
I love the messengers. The messengers are my favorite part of Bloodborne. Like, I honestly, I'm like, I think they're the neatest thing. They have such, like, what my disappointments in Bloodborne are that it doesn't lean enough into its romantic, like, underpinnings, because it's all there. And I'm like, you did not. If you just leaned into this more, and you decided to be,
it goes all Sweeney Todd instead of what it needs to be. It
does, yeah. And like, I'm just like, but you're so close. I mean,
I still love the game, but I did find its aesthetic, like, it felt a little bit like, oh, this is kind of like, it's a bit Tim Burton for me.
Once I started fighting street sharks in the DLC, I was kind of like,
you weren't into that?
I was like, homie, I mean, like, it's funny because I was torn. I was like, I really liked the Junji Ito fishery.
Yeah, that was cool.
I really liked that. And then getting to like the town, and I was like, I would have gladly accepted. There's this one terrible Lovecraft game that I played that was really, it has two awful stealth sequences that ruin it. They absolutely ruin it. But there's some really great moments in the beginning of it that really just are so incredible. But one of them is going to this, terrible whaling village.
Oh,
And
nice.
you meet these terrible, just like awful whalers that are all like, they've lived on this one island being whalers forever. And then like up in like, I think it's like up like, outside of like, Nantucket. And it's just like these terrible New England whalers, that are just like grimy they're extremely xenophobic.
And they've eaten some stuff that made them
they have spent their generations just absorbing old god energy basically. And so it's like I'm like kind of like I wanted more of that energy. I wanted Miyazaki to take on that part. It's like if there's someone that I want to see do the Dunwich horror, it's Miyazaki.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's always like I feel like Bloodborne's at its best when it leans into its Lovecraft, and like particularly the kind of like Orphan of Cause part where it is Lovecrafty and weird and upsetting and the body horror and stuff. And I agree. I think like there's a little too much of like and we're in a fun like English town. It just gets a little silly.
It's weird because, like I said, I'm the exact opposite. I think the times when it directly kind of tries to evoke Lovecraft versus the times when it is drawing from Shelley and drawing from C.A. Smith and Algernon Blackwood and things like that. I'm just like, that's when I think it is at its finest.
Interesting. Okay, I can buy that. I mean, I don't think I dislike the parts where it's drawing from.
I think the thing is,
C.A. Smith and Algernon Blackwood and all. Yeah, like, those are good.
Like, I think it needs to be willing to be sillier. Mm-hmm. If anything.
Interesting. So like silly in what way?
Foppery.
Well, okay, so foppery is one thing.
I think it needs to, like, once we get into when the little weird aliens start showing up, I think that's great. Because yes. The slug, all of the students, all the grad students becoming slimy slug monsters, I think that's great.
I also unironically think that's maybe my favorite part of the game is the academy.
It's fun. It's honestly, it's when the game becomes anime bullshit. Once we have the guy with the machine gun doing the stealth werewolf zone, and I'm just kind of like, I don't think you understand what werewolves are, but congratulations. Like, I also enjoyed this weird anime.
I mean, as we learned from last session, Miyazaki does not know what werewolves are. The lycanthropes in this make no sense.
I am fascinated, and I think that goes to like his understanding of what, like, both the wild and wild growth and chaos and all of these things are very fascinating, because those all get wrapped up. The werewolf is opposition to the civilized man, right? Like it's that is what it is. It is, the violent primal beast inside of us that we have to keep in check. That
or else it'll kill things that you don't want it to kill.
That's why the French and Indians, those are the people that we associate with werewolves in an English tradition.
they do. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Where are the werewolf stories from? In the English language, where are the werewolf stories from? It's the Native Americans and the French.
Yeah. Well, listen. I won't say they weren't. The French were a little suspicious. They were they had a lot of their foppery makes us all a little worried here on the Isles. No, I think the parts that I found a little. Who's this?
This guy's fun. Oh yeah, whoa, buddy.
Stop kicking me.
Well, they're wearing the bandit armor, I think is what it is.
Oh, it's on his Fusro Dab right there.
Yeah, no, they've got they've got the bandit axe, which is like sick because you get the war cry ability, which gives you like a buff to your like just physical attack.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Spider shield.
Spider shield.
Spider shield's so neat. But no, I think like the parts that I find like a little tiresome about Bloodborne are like, I don't know. I think they're the same parts, like the that you find frustrating, like the hunters or like the machine gun hunter guy. And I think like it's not that I don't think it's good or that I don't think it has interesting elements. I really just think it feels too much like, oh, we're really playing into the top hats are cool gang. Like we're really just like leaning into the kind of like steampunky elements.
No, and that is the thing that I dislike. I do like there is, and that is that kind of goes into the anime bullshit. Like there's just so much like what is it like? God, I watched it on Amazon not too long ago. Like the Vatican miracle. It's just like spooky anime about like Vatican ghost hunter boys.
Okay,
and it's not
awesome.
nearly as gay as it needs to be.
Is that oh, what's that one with the it's a vampire hunter, not vampire hunter. It's and he has like he wears all red.
What the shit?
What am I thinking of here? I can't remember what I'm thinking of. But that's the one that seems like just as gay as it needs to be. I'm gonna find out what this is.
What the y'all chill the fuck out. I forgot about these.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot about these assholes in this zone. With their because they've got crossbows and there's crossbows and dogs. Fire crossbows and dogs. This is some bullshit.
The two things that are the hardest to deal with in any Dark Souls game.
Like really?
What I was thinking of was Helsing. Helsing.
Oh,
Helsing. I feel like you can't argue that Helsing is not as gay as it needs to be.
Yeah. Oh Jesus! Why are there so many dogs in this zone that I don't remember?
Miyazaki had a really bad day. Just needed to.
Yeah. God, this is like a horrible gauntlet.
It says, "Look, this one's for me."
All right. Look. I think that it's got to be all the dogs by now.
The trees are nice.
The trees are nice.
That you can like hide behind them. Just when you thought it was safe.
Jesus. And these are those like god awful like French foot loading crossbows too.
Yep.
Speaking
of the French being suspicious, yeah.
The French being terrible and the British hating them. That's the reason why. Just fucking, you know, which still it didn't save them. Didn't save them. Just pissed off the English. That's all.
English just got.
And the English showed up with a fucking, you know, longbow, and they said, "Y'all don't have yew trees over here, do you?"
They got on their longbow shit, and it was over. Y'all don't have yew trees. It's true. They didn't.
No, it's sorry.
It's rough, but awesome.
God,
I always loved learning about longbows. That was always fun. That felt like a moment where you could actually see like the way history like changed on a dime, kind of like where it's like, oh yeah, it all went bad because they discovered longbows.
Yeah, like
that's just that rocks. That's cool.
Yeah.
If only we had discovered longbows first, civilization as we know it in this portion of the world would be vastly different.
Look at this place. This.
Oh, it's so spooky.
It's like it's interesting because like I know like I have spent time, you know, when I first played this, I did spend time here, but like you have this horrible path that winds you up to this cathedral, right? Which is weird because we've got these weird terraces the way they're built. I don't understand this pathway. Is really what I guess it comes down to.
I can't imagine anyone building it to lead up to a cathedral.
No, it feels very strange. You know, we got these archways, and we still have these weird trees. Like, you would think you would just clear these trees out.
I mean, if you told me this was some sort of like druidic place, I might believe you.
But then we also have this other weird walkway over here. We've got these piled up rocks. You know, have these rocks been piled? Have they been cleared? Have they been carved through? Like what?
They look carved.
They look like they've been quarried out, right? It's just so strange.
It's really weird.
And then we lead up into this cemetery with these, like, you know, very dilapidated, once again, everything kind of thrusting its way in towards the path.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, we sort of see that a little more with the cobblestones, right? Like, once you get the cobblestones there, you see how uneven and messy they've become because the ground has become uneven around them.
And like I love this shot. This is like a more of that like Tim Burton shit, but it's also it's very like there's an Edward Gorey quality to this.
Yes.
Which
is also when Tim Burton's at his
it
best.
is like like this is the thing is like whenever we say, oh, it's kind of Tim Burton-esque, well, we have to ask ourselves then, it's like, well, is Tim Burton ripping off Edward Gorey when we describe this? And like in this case, absolutely.
When is the Tim Burton when is the Tim Burton-esque stuff actually bad? It's when it's ripping off like himself. If he's ripping off Edward Gorey or trying to do the old Addams Family books, then like, listen, you do your Charles Addams. It's cool.
Yes.
we like that.
Oh, we got this asshole over here that we gotta kill. Oh shit!
Wow. Oh my.
I thought he was gonna be one of those little lantern guys, and no, he instead is a self-immolating, stabbing himself in the heart.
I hate the self-immolating guys in these games. They are so awful and make me so anxious.
No, it's so funny because, like, you know, I think about like enemies that for that commit suicide in their attempt to kill you. You know, like even like the bombs and self-destruct in Final Fantasy. Like those are all things that we've contended with in plenty of games. You know, there's lots of enemies that will that do damage to themselves, do more damage to you.
Right.
All those sorts of things. But like these guys all gathered around this praying.
I mean, I would gather around them. If it was considered acceptable, I would gather around a monolith.
You would gather around a monolith, yeah.
I find them captivating.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't find?
Well, I think people are lying when they say they don't.
It was really funny because I remember growing up as a kid, growing up around D.C. and Virginia. These particular obelisks were everywhere, because we really loved ripping off classical architecture.
I love that the kind of like conspiracy is it's a Masonic symbol. This is how they show who really controls the world. It's like we just wanted it to look like Paris, and we were all kind of bumpkins.
Yeah, and Paris just wanted it to look like Greece and Egypt because they were
they were kind of bumpkins. Yeah, it's like we just thought it was cool to have a lot of these.
But like it's so funny because like Richmond, Virginia, capital of the Confederacy. Like these shits are fucking everywhere. Just fucking the antebellum South loved them some of this shit.
And look, like there's a lot about the antebellum South. Most about the antebellum South, I am not a fan. I like those pillars.
Right, yeah.
I like the obelisks. I'm sorry, they're great.
It's true. Most of them don't have that much writing on them, though. This is like a fucking cuneiform, complaint letter.
Someone public squared this.
I really love every time we discover, or someone on Twitter posts a new, translation of a cuneiform, letter to the manager. They're my favorite things in the whole world.
It's that famous complaint letter to is it A. Nasir, the guy who sells the bad tin or the bad it's so good. So what is this complaint letter? Oh, it's one of the most important early instances of text.
Yeah.
And what is it? It's someone who's mad.
There's one that I saw recently that was going around, and it was like, hey, if you want this fucking grain to not die, you need to give me the fucking water. and stop damming my fucking water because my crops were all dying. Hey, and it's like then there's like an illustration, and it's like literally like drawing like all of your farmland, and then drawing arrows to all of it, being like, this shit's all dying. Do you want to starve? It's so good. It's my favorite thing. But like
people don't change in terms of pettiness.
No, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is kind of wonderful to think we've been petty for so long as a species. It's like, if you want hope on a bad day, just remember we've been petty for so long.
Well, look what we've got here.
That's it's a church of some sort.
There you go, a little chapel. There's a bonfire at the end of it.
All right, well, that's good.
Someone over here praying.
Merciful goddess, mother of the forlorn, who have no place to call their own, please bear witness to our resolve. Fire for Ariandel. Fire for Ariandel.
Oh boy.
And the ash to kindle flame.
You're right there, homie.
Guy is prostrate right there.
He really is. I don't, who is he praying to? He's praying to the mother.
He's praying, so it's ashes for area, or
It's
fire for area.
Fire for Ariandel and the ashes to kindle it. So it's not enough to just have fire. You need to make that fire, and then you need to make it kindled.
Right.
Remember,
So
like
he's
there's
not praying to Ariandel.
no. It's Ariandel. I mean, when you buy the DLC, you know that the ashes of Ariandel are Ariandel, and that is the painted world of Ariandel. That's
Right.
actually the DLC entry point.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we
Because
can
I do
talk-
know the DLC is called The Ashes of Ariandel.
Yeah.
It's called The Well of Ariandel.
Well, eventually you see that's the next thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
Interesting.
the next I thought he should be there now. Maybe not. Maybe he's there later. That's where we're supposed to meet our friend Siegfried.
Oh, right, okay. mean,
Which
we
I
got-
say
we got his
tentatively
first
only
thing,
because I
yeah.
can't remember if Siegfried or Sigmire and which one is which.
I think yeah, I'm bad
I
at
think
this.
it's Siegfried in this
I
one.
think that's right.
Try fire. Homie, let me tell you, fire does not help for anything with this shit. So
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Yeah, it's good. It's fucking, this is what we're talking about here.
This rocks. Look
Yeah.
at all those dead people.
Yeah, look at all those dudes. The way they crawl up from the ground like that, it's so good. And you know what? They don't die.
Uh-oh.
Not for long.
Fall down. They certainly don't give you souls.
No, they give you 22 if you kill
Oh, they
them.
do? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
But like, yeah, no, like it's not a lot, and they all suck.
Oh. Here's the...
Store great sword.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is like a weird zone because it's like it is it's a callback to the the same
absolutely.
one. Like it's not doing anything different. Only it's kind of harder to see. It's more maze like, which is interesting.
this is-
I like
Go ahead.
the way that we turn this into an actual kind of almost a first person maze. Like it's not.
Well, because the entry zone in Dark Souls 1 where you're going down to the undead area is like, it still is an entry zone. Like, you have to have the opening elements to be able to get in and out.
Yeah.
And this is like you're in the midst of things at this point.
Yeah.
It changes so that it works that way.
And it's also it's interesting because here is in the Executioner's Great Sword. God, I forgot how many of these dudes are here.
So many.
Oh yeah, and we get
Ruin arm.
this happening, where they start they like merge with the dogs, I think is the deal.
Like that.
It's no good. Everything here is bad. It's kind of huge if you think about it compared to the catacomb zone entry point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
oh yeah,
unlike
here we go.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're not dogs. They're like
Spaghetti men.
yeah, it's like
Fruits.
maggots. I don't even know. It's terrible.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
But so we made it through that horrible part. I don't remember if there's more over there or not. I don't remember. I know there's more down there.
Yeah.
God, will you stop?
They won't.
I think eventually, like, some of these guys do. Okay, that should be... Shit.
It's odd, but it's just weird that there's not like a necromancer hanging out up here that we can just kill off.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's right. You gotta kill the things and then you can... Son of a bitch.
God.
Jesus.
Tense.
Oh, no, this is just gonna keep coming.
Yeah.
Alright, so we gotta just gotta get
I don't think
through
we
this.
can admire this area.
No, we don't get to admire much. And that is a disappointment. Like,
This is a nice zone.
this is a
Compared
really
to the one
interesting
we were
zone.
hating on. I like this a lot.
I like, but we can hear. See, there's that tree.
Oh,
Oh, fuck! I forgot about this shit. These
Yo.
motherfuckers who go rip shit. But we do get help from our guy. We get fire support, which is nice. But this is kind of like a weird Bloodborne-y sort of zone where it's way just extremely action oriented. Undead bone shard, we love that. This, if you don't make friends with the giant, provide fire support here, and to actually he will make you a target.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. But if you,
I don't know why you wouldn't make friends with the giant.
I don't know
either.
why you wouldn't make friends with it, but if you don't know to like go over there,
Right. Yep.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah, these things are fucking nightmare stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Ah, damn! Didn't even drop anything for us.
Yeah, I was really hoping for something there.
I think they dropped the knife. I think actually they think they dropped the full outfit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, that is
Those guys that go rip shit is good enough for me.
yeah. Those. Well, I was gonna say like if I could remember what they're called, then we could look them up, but I can't remember.
Well, I mean,
that,
easy
so.
enough. Let's see. So, what is this area called? It's.
I don't actually know. Cathedral of the Deep, I think is.
Cathedral of Deep. Yep. Let's see here. Oh, cool. I'm actually very happy to see some of these NPCs in the area. I won't give it away though. Let's see. Cathedral Knight, Hollow Slave, Reanimated Corpse, Infested Corpse, Cathedral Evangelist, Cathedral Grave Warden, Out of the Deep, Starved Hound. Could be like no, it's something very different. Writhing Rotten Flesh, no. Oh, they are a Cathedral Grave Warden.
Yeah, the Grave Wardens.
They are agile fighters that were tasked with disposing of any undead that emerged from the grave. Interesting. Their moveset seems to be a mix of the Rakuya weapon, Bloodborne, and Pontiff Knight. Okay.
Yeah, the Rakuyo, that's what you, that's what, I think that's what, what's her face uses. Clock Tower Lady.
Oh, right, okay. I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about. That's a cool statue.
Yeah, these statues are really neat. I don't know what their deal is. Like, they've got, like...
You have to get them an orb.
Like you do, right? Like they have like a, you know, big what are the bird men from Metroid?
What are they called?
Not the Chojo.
That's not so far off.
It's not far off. Chozo, the Chozo.
Chozo, yeah.
It's like they're not Maris the Chojo, they're like that. Didn't you do Maris the Chojo as a podcast?
We
with
did
Emily?
do Maris the Chojo as a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, I was laughing about that, thinking about Maris the Chojo.
Like,
Maris the Chojo is great.
Yeah, Maris the Chojo rules. One of the
I really
first
like
anime
that.
you could get in America when you were, you know, a young child of the late '80s, early '90s.
Simply a wacky and good OVA.
Yeah.
Just so fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This shit is down here, by the way.
Don't like him. Oh
No, it's terrible. And like,
ew.
this is more Bloodborne shit that I don't like. I
Got
don't
your Bloodborne
feel
in my
like.
Dark Souls.
So like, this is the thing. I don't necessarily feel that like they are thematically consistent with Bloodborne or with Dark Souls. I feel like they are consistent with Bloodborne, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know that they really are. Like, they feel just very out of place with me. Oh, fucking hell. I've got... Do I have...
Oh, do you have a parasite or something?
No, I've got blood loss. I don't have any of the thing. Can I use an ember and just maybe that'll make my life easier at least? Sure. Ember restored.
Well, I can tell you that the weapons that those ripshit enemies drop are called the Warden Twin Blades.
Yeah.
They are the paired weapon wielded by the Grave Wardens of the Cathedral of the Deep. The Grave Wardens of the Cathedral who put down reincarnating corpses. Man, blood loss is brutal in this game. Wield weapons that cause profuse bleeding. For the loss of blood and bodily fluids is said to slow reanimation. And they also dropped the Grave Warden set. Rotting, tattered skirt, robe, hood, and wrap. Attire of Grave Wardens at the Cathedral of the Deep. Grave Wardens were tasked with disposing of their ever-rising corpses that plagued the cathedral. Their clothes are utterly putrid, drenched in the blood and mucilage of their undertaking. Not the mucilage.
Yeah, God, mucilage is such a terrible word.
That's a real J.G. Ballard's Crash word.
It
to
really,
me.
yeah. It's God. How much blood loss do I just sustain?
Do you just sustain it forever?
Like it feels like it.
Just once that fills up, you're.
This is why we need grass.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Sorry.
I feel like you'd be able to pick it.
Jesus.
Oh,
God,
boy.
it's still going. Okay, you know what? Oh,
Yeah, this
son of
is
a bitch.
good.
Are my controllers being weird? Okay. We got a homeward bone.
I mean, fair enough. This is a bad situation.
I was not
that we're
going to
stuck in.
survive more of that, and I had close to 11,000 souls.
Let's yeah, absolutely. No reason to give up our souls there.
No. Let's actually just munch all of this shit and see what we got out of this, because we got a lot of souls here, and we got all kinds of stuff going on here, Trevor.
I know this is We have like 1 million souls. We have a bunch of collectables. We got tons of stuff.
We got all
got
kinds.
A Stories or
we got an Estus shard. We actually, we got the bone chunk. We could burn the undead bone shard. Let's actually read about the undead bone shard first.
That was so clutch. Good call. I forgot about the paladin's ashes.
Yeah, we got paladin. We got all kinds of stuff. We're gonna, we got some reading to do.
So much fun
got
stuff.
Got some lore to go through. Where the fuck are the things in my inventory? Tower key, log paladin.
No, maybe in there. No.
Undead bone shard. Here we go. Undead bones that get burned. Cast it into the shrine bonfire to boost the recovery provided by the Estus flask. The bonfire's cinders are the bones of undead, and a bone that still burns is a fresh cinder indeed. Before feeding upon death, one must first pray to it.
Wow. That is an interesting way to think about the Estus flask.
Yeah.
Praying upon death.
I think the shard soaked in Estus give to the blacksmith uses of the Estus flask. In the old days, it was rare to see an Estus flask far from its owner, but this shard offers hope, however shattered. Yeah. What is this? No unkindled can ever truly claim the embers that burn within a champion's bosom, which is precisely what makes their yearning for warmth so keen. Gain the strength of flame and increase max HP until death. With the strength of fire, the summoning signs of the unkindled become visible, and seekers of embers can be summoned to join in cooperation. But beware, the embers may also attract invaders. I am so amused by just the insistence on the cooperation.
Co-operation.
We do not do that with other.
You know, the normal way we spell cooperation.
Yeah, we don't even, you know. And I love that because it's not even the New Yorker way of spelling cooperation. I will forever make fun of the New Yorker for its insistence on using diuresis. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's plenty of reasons to make fun of them, and that is one of them.
I would even at my most well, you know, I'm gonna go to Emerson and become a writer, douchebag mode of my life. I never was I will never write for the New Yorker as long as they are insisting on diuresis. Sorry, if diuresis is part of your style guide, I will not fuck with you. It's ugly and it's terrible.
You have to have a code, basically. Like, if you want to be a writer and you don't have some extremely specific things that you will not mess around with, you won't become a good writer.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with what diuresis is, diuresis is what, you know, the New Yorker, this is part of their style guide, where someone would write coordinate or cooperate. Typically, we will in Chicago. It's just one word. There's no dash. There's no diacritical. There's nothing.
The absolute best way to do it.
Yeah, that is the way to do it. It is the most pleasing to the eye and mind way to do it. It is the easiest to understand and intuit. Yes, it's a little bit weird to look at coordinate and go coordinate, but if you can say Coors Light, you can say coordinate just by looking at two O's next to one another. The New Yorker, for its infinite wisdom, seems to believe that it is more legible to the readers. And their readers are supposed to be smart. Their readers think of themselves as very elevated readers.
Oh, you buy the New Yorker to feel smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah.
And many of their writers are very smart and talented. I will never take that away from the New Yorker writers. However, the default position of the New Yorker style guide is that their readers need an umlaut over the second doubled vowel in order to make sense of the word. So coordinate is spelled C-O-O with an umlaut, R-idinate. It's
some real Spinal Tap ass typography.
It really is. It's fucking terrible. I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes me angry seeing words like that. Mad. I'm mad now, Trevor. I need to go kill some skeletons in grave.
Yeah, I mean, go get it out of your system. This is important.
But first, we gotta get these ashes up. We gotta read these ashes first. We gotta remember to read the ashes. Paladin's ashes. Umbral ash of a worn-out paladin who sought the Cathedral of the Deep. With this, the shrine handmaid will prepare new items. Paladin paid quite a price for his headstrong justice. I love that we make a joke of lawful stupid in Paladin's ashes here.
I've never really heard lawful stupid before.
You've never heard really lawful stupid? Lawful stupid is a tabletop role playing joke. Goes way back. Lawful stupid is the idea that lawful good characters tend to behave in ways that are fucking boneheaded. Okay. And if like lawful good characters tend to fall into two camps, and like one, they're either fucking fascists.
Yeah, sure.
They're just absolute, like the worst fascist, like if you think of PC police and it's the fucking paladin. At the same time, they also do things like, well, we have to go help these people for great justice. And it's like, homie, we're 4 people, and that is a whole entire stronghold full of like orcs that will kill us. And then they're like, oh no, I can't suffer an evil thing to live, so I have to go do it. And it's like, that's stupid. So lawful stupid is a phrase that is born out of the paladins paying quite a price for their headstrong justice.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Makes sense to me. I'm right there with you.
I love he's clutching a Lloyd's talisman, I think. Do I have a Lloyd's talisman to compare that to? No, I don't have one on me. I think that's a Lloyd's talisman.
That's a Lloyd's talisman.
Pretty
it's
sure.
Really cool. I love the strong grip and the ashen arm. It's really what a neat comparison there. It's really cool.
But I love the gripping the Lloyd's talisman, because Lloyd was the head of the Way of the White. He was the first. He's the Allfather Lloyd.
Yeah, he's Allfather Lloyd. Yeah.
Right. So he's kind of the head of the Order of the Way of the White.
It's like having a little collectible about the Pope.
Yeah, I could say
clutched in your hand.
It is like a little Pope. It's like a Pope little like feng shui mirror is what it kind of looks like.
What if the Pope sold feng shui
mirrors?
What if
the Pope was a cameo? It was like it's a cameo of the Pope, but also it's like one of those like really cool feng shui mirrors.
What this essay suggests is.
But yeah, I really like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, what else did we pick up? Shit. Heavy Jam. Okay, no, we didn't get it. We read the Estus Shard. We read the Bone Shard. Did we pick up the Young White Branch? Oh, this is interesting. So there's 2 Young White Branches. There's kind of the generic one, and then there's this one. Branch of a white birch received from a giant, apparently as a token of friendship. Becomes something that blends in with the surroundings, consumed when used. Good friend, no hit.
Okay.
So that's just. But I love this. So it's a young white branch used to transform into something which blends into surroundings. Little Dusk's first sorcerer's staff eventually became a seedling, and then 3 white birch saplings. The young branch is said to still contain echoes of Little Dusk's capriciousness. So here's an interesting thing. We can pick these up around, like if you saw where I picked this up, there is kind of a white birch tree growing.
Right.
It's the same thing with the first place where the giant is defending these branches. He's defending the white birch trees.
Interesting.
And I think there's 3 throughout the whole game. There's the one we first in the Undead settlement. There's the one in the Cathedral of the Deep, and then I think there's like one more. But he is defending these white branches. If you pick up all of the white branches, he dies.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Because he no longer has a reason to exist.
Yeah, that's why I am very careful about picking up the white branches, because these white branches are they're the saplings that are growing off of this tree, and so for whatever reason, these young birches are important to him, even though if we think about it, the way trees work, it's not healthy. We should pick up these branches
Yes.
that
No,
are they're
absolutely
sprouting
we should.
near the tree, but he
It's
doesn't
not
want
gonna
us.
help the tree.
Yeah, he doesn't want us to do it. So whatever. It's magical Miyazaki world. Leave the fucking branches. Let the giant live. Good friend, no hit.
Good friend, no hit.
Yeah. So okay, what do we always picked up? We picked up some crazy shit going on here. Okay, the historic greatsword. The greatsword
so exciting.
bestowed upon elite knights is a relic of the ruined land of Astora. Designed for a focus on thrust attacks, this sword is hard and sharp, but not unusually heavy. So we get skills: charge, hold sword at waist, and charge a foe. It's an ultra great sword. I think I used this on my first playthrough. Let's see, can I equip it? Yeah, I can't use it effectively because I don't have faith stat, but it's not
a nice
bad. Like
looking sword.
it's sick. If you want to just if you want to be like the no shield two-handed sword paladin, or if you've got the vitality for it, like it's got a good sweep. It's got the Zweihander
Got the
moveset,
thrust.
but it doesn't have the
Yeah.
Zweihander weight.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the dex for it, but
Oh sure. Yeah. No,
But-
I'm not suggesting we switch to it, but it is a really cool
yeah,
sword.
no, it's like nice. We also have it's like Zweihander. See, like same moveset. It's a little faster. It doesn't have quite the knockdown, but it's a good sword.
It's a neat
I don't
sword,
think
yeah.
we read. Did we read the Exile?
I don't believe so.
Bloodstained greatsword wielded by one of the watchdogs of Farron who preside over the slumber of fallen warriors. The blade is a reminder of the exile's past deeds. Yeah, we didn't read this. But those are
And the same with the exiled great daggers or whatever, right?
yeah. A unique katana characterized by the fine craftsmanship of an eastern land where it was forged. This finely sharpened blade cuts flesh like butter and causes bleeding, but breaks easily as a result.
Fair enough.
Brigand axe. Axe favored by brigands of a distant land. Surprisingly sturdy battle axe that requires more strength to wield than a standard axe. This is what the guy with we got the spider shield from.
And then you did point out that the war cry is part of that axe.
Yeah,
moveset, which makes sense.
Let out a spirited war cry that temporarily boosts attack. It's war cry is not a like that's a good weapon art in this game. Like
Yeah.
it definitely helps your ass. Especially like when you start the game as like a deprived and you got the club, and I used the fucking war cry on what's his face, Udix Gundar.
Oh God, Udix Gundar.
Udix
Yeah,
Gundar.
of course. Well, why wouldn't you?
A shield bearing a large etching of a spider. Shields
love
of this
the spider
style
shield.
are commonly used by savage mountain bandits and offer high resistance to poison. Why do the bandits have like the high resistance to poison shield is my favorite question. Why
Good
does
question.
why does the
You'd
shield
think bandits would use the poison,
Yeah.
not people against
and
the
maybe
bandits.
that's the thing is maybe it's the bandits like they're really like concerned with poison, so they need a shield that defends against it, or I don't know, but it's so funny to me that that's the case. And we had the cool spider shield. Spider shield, coolest fucking thing.
That's so funny.
I love
I
that.
love the spider shield. It's so nice.
So good. And like, I mean, in Dark Souls, it's less than crucial here, but like, I mean, I imagine that, Derby will probably remember the time that she had to deal with poison and put on the spider shield when we have to deal with poison again.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That
this is the
makes
Cursed
a lot of sense.
Great Ward Shield. Great shield given to those who resisted the curse long ago. Far too heavy for an ordinary person, perhaps it signifies the foolishness of resisting the curse. And yet, those who bear the weight of this shield will not find its protections against curses wanting. This is a weird shield. Like, it's a weird, like, it's got like these cutouts in it that like, look like the kind of shield that you would use, like if you were like trying to like launch a spear through the top,
Sure. Right.
Like it's just an interesting design.
Yeah, it shares its design with the spider shield.
Well, yeah, it does. It does share the design with the spider shield, doesn't it? The thing that like, the thing that it reminds me of, the thing that I think that actually it just is the pursuer shield.
Ah, I see.
And so, like, I gotta look up the pursuer great shield. Pursuer Great Shield, Dark Souls 2. Okay, Pursuer's Great Shield, which is like, I think it's like this shield, but it's twisted the other direction. You know, so it's got the cutouts on the middle sides.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah, I see that. Makes sense.
Yeah, so this is the Pursuer's Great Shield. The quote from the Pursuer's Great Shield: "Great Shield of the Pursuer. For those who can handle the weight of this shield, it offers resistance to curses."
Oh my gosh.
The Pursuer hunts down those branded by the curse, as if each undead soul that he claims will atone one of his sins.
Never really understood the Pursuer's methods before now, or the motives rather.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I think that's really interesting, and the way it is lost the Pursuer from it and become kind of a more common item. You know.
Yeah, of course. Like it's a kind of like, I mean, where did the Pursuer go? Is the Pursuer dead? Can the Pursuer die?
Yeah.
I mean, ostensibly not in any normal way, since we keep running into him.
Yeah, we haven't run into him in this game though, but we found his shield.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So the thing we picked up was the Saint Tree Bellvine. A sacred chime for casting miracles of the gods, a bell vine cut from a small saint tree that has been meticulously tended to. Saint tree bell vines are customary in the far north and allow for faster casting than ordinary sacred chimes. The skill is gentle prayer, recovers HP for a period of time, albeit extremely slowly. Works while equipped in either hand. So this is interesting. This is a vine from a tree that's been cut off that has these kind of little bells for flowers. It's interesting that the Saint Tree bell vine, an ordinary tree, those would fall off. You couldn't take a withered, a dried tree like a tree branch like this with flowers on it. The flowers would fall right off. And these are apparently just kind of hang on there.
I mean, it is a chime too. It's almost like they hang on there and then they have bells incorporated into them somehow. Pretty neat.
The brigand twig daggers. These paired daggers are the preferred weapons of brigands of a distant land. When two-handed, the wielder holds the blade in each hand, allowing for divergent attacks that include left-handed moves. So it's interesting that we get these kinds of things. Then we get the Executioner's Greatsword. We found the Executioner's Greatsword in the graveyard on the way up.
Right.
Which is an interesting place to find an Executioner's Greatsword. Greatsword of a debauched executioner used for beheadings. This sword retains a keen memory of its executioner's duty and absorbs force points from each fallen foe. Wow. Let's go down and see what that looks like. Oh, that's right. It's just kind of this weird blunt. It doesn't need a tip because it doesn't need a tip because it's designed for cutting heads off. Wow. It's kind of just like this big chiseled blade that just wants to cut heads off. But yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
like that a lot.
It's a neat weapon. I've never used it. I don't know if it's actually any good or not, but
I mean, I can understand not using it. It seems a little bit maybe overly clunky if you're trying to maintain any sense of
like the thing is by the time
continuity.
you get it, you've got such a wealth of great sword options and great axe options that it's kind of like
Yeah, like why
why
use this when I have X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, but I guess if you're going for a look, there is a design for a character that wants that sword because it is sick the way it's just like this blunted off, it's a very terrible looking weapon. It's just very unpleasant.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Herald set. That's one other thing we picked up. Steel helm said to be heralded by heralds of the Way of the White, who deliver commandments of duty. Protection made of steel has excellent physical absorption, but it is found lacking against blunt strikes and lightning damage.
Oh.
I like the idea
That seems really bad for a helmet.
You'd think. But, you know. Do we read the Brigand Hood yet? I think we're on it. Hood from a foreign land probably belonged to a brigand who met his match. In foreign lands, undead were banished to send a message to the populace. And when the message was not heard, they banished the living too. That's right, because remember we talked about the banishment of the living.
Yeah, how that's such a harsh punishment.
Yeah, okay, so let's see the Herald armor. Steel armor with a pure white cape, the signature of Heralds of the Way of the White. This is the class you can start as. You can start as a Herald. They're like Dex Faith, I think, is the deal. Like Knights are like Strength Faith, and like Heralds are kind of Dex Faith.
Interesting.
They start with a halberd. They're fun. But I think that's Master's Clip.
Is that all our stuff?
Oh, this is interesting. Men are fond of weaving tales to explain the raggedness of their guard. My sixth sense warned me of danger, and I danced between flurries of blades unscathed. But alas, my clothes went to tatters.
Oh.
Does the Masters... The loincloths is what they had. They didn't have it. But what about the Master's attire? Same seal. Okay. Okay, so...
Interesting.
What a fun time we've had.
Learning.
Sage ring, shorten spellcasting time. Am I missing? I'm missing a ring. Oh no. Learn the ring. Why is it acting like I'm missing a ring? Okay.
Now you have 4.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Did the sacrifice ring break? Did you have that on?
I didn't use that. I thought I sold it.
Oh.
Or maybe I did. Maybe I took that off to wear the sacrifice ring once and then.
Very well.
Didn't.
Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from.
All right, so we can level up here a bit, and I think we'll put a point into vigor to get 40 more health points.
I mean, that seems like a
get us to
no-brainer.
804.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. And so now we got to drop off these.
Well met, Ashen One.
She needs her ashes.
Got to give her those ashes, those paladin's ashes.
Gracious, passing fine ash thou'st given. Let this ash bestow nourishment. I only hope these new wares content thee.
Let's see what you got. So we get more embers every time, I think. A purple moss clump, which cures poison. And we can buy Undead, Hunter Charm, and Dual Charms now.
Dual charms.
So this is interesting. The Undead Hunter Charm. Tool used to hunt down the undead. Blocks Estus recovery within a limited area. Used long ago by Lloyd's cleric knights on their undead hunts. Although Allfather Lloyd is long forgotten by the Way of the White, his hunts have lived on, and this charm allows one to challenge undead without fear of tenacious healing. That is funny. Grave key, dagger, short scimitar, halberd. Oh, the crescent axe. A crescent-shaped halberd resembling a long-handled battle axe, traditionally wielded by Way of the White clerics. That was a fun axe in Dark Souls 1, I think.
It's interesting that they make the axe a white mage thing.
Well, they're paladins.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Paladins in like kind of halberds. Because this is the thing is it says it's called a long-handled battle axe, but it is a halberd. Paladins and halberds go way back in Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that. We also can get the exile mask and things like of that nature.
Yes.
So this is where we got. Okay. Iron Mask of the Watchdogs of Farron Keep. After the Legion's Watchers became Lords of Cinder, the wolf blood dried up. and Farron was consumed by a festering wood. Within the wood, an emaciated old wolf commands watchdogs to defend the sanctity of sleeping warriors. Both the exiles were surely watchdogs themselves, for Farron has always been a land of itinerants.
I mean, I guess if you're an itinerant and you're an exile and you don't want to draw attention to yourself, you wear a mask that covers your whole face.
I mean, it's like, were they wearing the mask because they were an exile and an itinerant? Was the mask put on them when they became, when they were exiled? Like, or did they want to hide their face? Like, which came first, I guess is the question there. But I love.
Yeah, I wonder that too. I mean, especially since it's called the Exile Mask, I think that gives some proof that the mask came second, right? Like the naming is too on the nose. It's too much attempting to codify that version of it as opposed to another.
But I like that, after the Legion's Watchers became Lords of Cinder, the wolf blood dried up. So them becoming, they burned themselves, in the kiln of the first flame, the way, Gwyn intends everyone to do. And the wolf blood dried up. It got burned up because they had all this wolf blood in them from the wolf. And then they burned it up in the fire, and then Farron crumbled because there were no Legion's Watchers. The wolf blood was not there to defend it. And so now we get this emaciated old wolf that just kind of hangs out in this swamp and is taking anyone it can get, basically. Yeah,
exactly.
The exile armor itself doesn't say anything new. The gauntlets say the same thing. They're just gauntlets and leggings. Sage's big hat. Enormous hat that completely obscures the face. Belonged to twin gurus known as the Crystal Sages. The pair are said to be successors to the great sage Logan. And this big hat is a symbol of their pedigree.
Successor to Logan, my goodness.
It's interesting to think of this successor to Logan because, we remember Logan in Dark Souls 1 does not end in a good place.
No.
There's no good ending for Logan.
I was going to say, is there any good ending for Logan? There's not.
No, it's his quest for knowledge takes him to a dead end. It's very, it's classic Miyazaki. Everyone who pushes too far in terms of knowledge and power has a bad time.
Yeah, don't ever try too hard, or else getting knowledge and power, or else Miyazaki will find you and tell you a tale.
This is the classic story. People who pushed too far and had a bad time.
Oh, we talked about Mary Shelley before. This is like the whole plot of Frankenstein.
The plot of Frankenstein. What is it? But the frame story for Frankenstein is literally, it starts with an Arctic exposition that is in the polar regions, and they come across Frankenstein and bring him on board and are like, and he's just like, look, you don't understand. I pushed too far. Which I really love because at the time, that's what people were doing in Shelley and in Mary Shelley's time, people were
Hillary, etc.
Yeah, they were gearing up to go and tackle the polar regions of the globe, and here she does publish this book, and it's just like, you're all psychopaths for doing this, and you're gonna have a bad time. To get it. Yeah.
They're like, this is a bad plan, and she was right.
So here we go. We got Lloyd's shield ring. A ring given to Knights of the Way of the White depicts Allfather Lloyd's shield of caste, which is an interesting way of...
Shield of caste.
Shield of caste, yeah. It's like... Okay. Boost damage absorption when HP is full. Much time has passed since the worship of Lloyd was common in the Way of the Right. What way of the White? The Way of White, not the White, just Way of White. The clerics of Karim had always strongly asserted that Lloyd was a derivative fraud,
Oh my.
and that the Allfather title was self-proclaimed. Holy shit, this ring goes hard.
We didn't ever hear that about Lloyd before.
No, Lloyd is Allfather. Allfather Lloyd. That's just how it's been. And then all of a sudden, these clerics of Karim that have strongly asserted that Lloyd was a derivative fraud, and the Allfather title was self-proclaimed.
That's
Damn.
that's really surprising. I thought Lloyd was a fairly uncontroversial figure.
No, Lloyd is the most fucking controversial
He's
figure.
a real
Let's fucking
controversial,
go.
yeah.
Let's go. Allfather Lloyd is a derivative.
I love
Derivative fraud. Not even just a fraud. Not even derivative. He is a derivative fraud, and the
Yeah, you can't
Allfather
even-
title was self-proclaimed. So that means who? Okay, if he's a derivative fraud, then who was? Who did the clerics of Karim? Who do they see as the real Allfather?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. We've got nothing here that tells me. Damn.
Ashen one.
Fascinating. That's really cool.
Allfather Lloyd is a derivative fraud. Holy shit. Teach the controversy.
I mean, yeah,
tis
let's
good
go
one, me.
Jerry Graff style. But I do find it interesting that this is the first time we've ever heard anything negative about Allfather Lloyd. And like the fact that even in like thousands of years ago in Dark Souls 1, it's, you know, Allfather Lloyd is fairly uncontroversially considered like a powerful Allfather. There's no controversy around him.
No.
Like the idea of there being a controversy
Pretty
that
careful.
occurs thousands of years after the fact is a really interesting one.
Yeah, it's some seriously wild
hello,
shit.
Landon.
What do you got, homie? You got anything new and cool? You got fire bombs. Glaive, is that? Halberd with a large blade was a scythe refitted for battle, designed for slicing. Anything?
Gotta use what you got.
Knight armor. We already looked at that. Pontiff knight shield. Nothing. I've got plenty of fire bombs.
Good. Yeah, don't overbuy fire bombs.
No,
That'd be a
not
mistake.
trying to overbuy.
Speak thy desire, honorable Lord of Hollows.
You got anything going on? No.
Orbeck, if left alone, he may one day imperil thy rule. Fall to this matter yearly, else we are unraveled.
He
Till
still
we
wants me
meet
to kill
again,
Orbeck,
neither
and
do-
I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Derby just doesn't buy it.
Gaining admission to the League, even
Still saying the same shit. All right.
Really cool how the book reads back to you. That's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to press a little further, or you think are you tired?
I'm very sleepy.
I think that's good. We did our big lore read. We've had a lot of interesting questions, and now we are set to go
I'm
deep into
fascinated by the
Cathedral
stuff we
next
found.
time. Yeah, we
It's
found
really
some
good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like the Cathedral zone, I'm skeptical of the zone as a zone, but the stuff you find here is good. And I'm excited to dig in more next week.
Yeah, some of the best lore we've encountered so
Yeah,
far.
we've
in
got
this
some.
game.
We've got some
Absolutely.
fucking Allfather Lloyd is a derivative fraud.
It's just
Shit,
some Lloyd slander. This is
Lloyd
great.
slander. It's great. Yeah. So Trevor, where can people find you? What have you been up to? Let them know.
These days it's all on the No Cartridge audio feed. Just check that out. Patreon has all sorts of ad-free episodes, which is great. That's what we're up to there right now. But well, let's see. We watched some Tenchi Muyo, which is fun. An episode about the 1995 film Johnny Mnemonic will be coming up soon, which is always fun. And you know, just gaming when I can, and some interesting guests coming up. Friend of all of us, Austin Walker. Hopefully, at some point we'll be able to link up. We've talked a couple of times. Yeah, just all sorts of fun stuff. Hoping to rekindle some more series because that's been a fun thing to do so far, and well received. So
That's
thanks
very
everyone for listening.
Yeah, so links to all that will be down in the description. So click on them and follow them and subscribe so that you don't miss any of that. I just dropped today, the day before you get this, I dropped the latest $5 Patreon, Worst Man in Cyrodiil, The Adventures of Vesper Hesperides in The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, my Oblivion Let's Play. So that's out there now for $5 patrons. Tomorrow when you listen to when you watch this, I will be putting together this month's Adventure Gamers Clubhouse game, Curse of Monkey Island. The third Monkey Island. And before we go off into a different adventure game series, we're going to take a break after 3 Monkey Islands.
There's enough Monkey Island to wait around.
We did the
bit.
kind of what I call the original trilogy, and then we will come back to do the 4th one at some point in the future.
Makes sense.
Because I just need a break. And I don't want to run them all together. Like it's doing the first 3, that's fun, but doing 4 months of Monkey Island back to back is just kind of like, no. We'll
That's
do
a
something.
lot of Monkey Island. That's
So-
way too much.
Yeah, so we're either gonna do Eco Quest: The Search for Cetus to close out the summer, or we're going to do a game that Janine Hawkins once described as, I don't know, Dia, this seems pretty French.
I'm so excited to hear
Yeah,
what this
we'll
game
probably
is.
go with that one. I might just do Eco Quest anyway because I'm interested in seeing how environmentalism in the early mid 90s in edutainment has aged. Yeah, like I vividly remember in that there is a quest where you have to attach a cage to a boat to protect a manatee who cannot get up for air, and his face is turning blue because
no.
he cannot get up for air because a boat has a bare propeller. Yeah, and like it's kind of like, okay, well, that's in the 90s. I remember, like, handing out flyers at the beach, like, put your propeller, put a cage on your boat because there's manatees and you need to protect them from lacerations from your propeller.
I mean, yeah, manatees.
But like
were
now it's just
a
like,
big
well,
deal.
shit, man, the manatees are fucking like, the ocean's boiling. So what are we gonna do? Like,
You can't do much with it's like a cover for your outboard motor is not going to help the manatees right now.
But like, I do remember, like the game opens with washing birds that have been covered in oil with Dove soap. Yeah,
okay.
'cause that's what they use. But now,
Yeah.
but at the time, people didn't know that. But now, Dove explicitly runs ads where they're cleaning animals from oil slicks.
Of course
the Dove soap.
they do.
So it's very interesting. I want to revisit that, and it's a game about being at the ocean and the beach and all that. So it's a good summer game.
What's not to like?
But we'll probably also do the very French game too, because why not? It's August. We can make some space for these things. But yeah, that's for $1 patrons. So if you subscribe,
It's well worth it, everyone.
Yeah.
Well worth being a patron of Dia.
Then you'll get to do the Adventure Club, and we'll continue on with that. But yeah, otherwise you can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on Co-host. You can find me on Twitter. Still, I'm gonna be there till they shut it down. Till Musk stops paying the guy who turns the lights on every morning.
Which, I mean, based on trends, will be tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
God knows. But I'll be anywhere at Dialacina as much as I can. If it's just all one word, Dialacina.
Dialacina.
You found this video, you can figure it out. But yeah, I wrote a thing for Paste.
Oh, very
If
good.
you
Yeah,
go
the
find
review
me,
for
you can
Paste,
find my
yes.
review for the Banished Vault, which I'm glad I called it the Banished Vault this time and not the Punished Vault, because that's what fellow reviewer Alexis Hong and I have called it amongst ourselves while we were playing the game. It's a brutal space management sim. about monks at the end of the universe. So go check that out. Again, links in the description, and we'll see you next week with a new episode. We'll go to the monastery. We'll go deep inside and see what's inside the Cathedral of the Deep. I promise you, it's bad.
The Cathedral of the Deep sounds so good, though.
The Cathedral of the Deep sounds so good. Nothing ever bad came of the deep in a Dark Souls game.
The deep is always good.
It's always good.
Yeah. There's some hidden knowledge down there, and it's never bad.
Yeah, and that's how could it be bad? Because this is the best of all possible souls. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Bye. Very good.
Good. That was such a good episode. I was so excited.
That was really fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Fucking Allfather Lloyd.
I know that was a really cool surprise.
I can't believe fucking Allfather Lloyd.
He's not. He's a derivative hack.
He's a derivative fraud.
He's a
Oh